welcome to the latest episode of WYTPod. And today we have a very special guest with us who recently told me if there is some bang on the doors, it will be her two kids. So I'll ask my viewers not just avoid them. You never listen to them if it happened in this show. So I'd like to welcome our beautiful women in the house today, Nicole, Hylton, Sharma.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, this is a question I ask all my. What I want you to is first let's introduce you so that my viewers know whom they're listening to, what kind of amazing person they are going to watch in this episode.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Nicole Hylton Sharma. I am the founder and CEO, creative director of Nic Hyl LLC, and I have a clothing brand, Nic Hyl Clothing. I also have a course program, Nic Hyl Fashion University, where I show fashion designers, brand owners, anyone working in fashion, how to master their product development and production. I also show them how to understand costing and pricing negotiations and all the back end things that would really go into properly managing a clothing brand. And I also recently founded with my husband a nonprofit organization called Live Beautiful Nation Foundation. And
Uh-huh.
it's a nonprofit where we take a portion of the proceeds from the sales of our programs or our clothing and help women with the day-to-day costs who are battling breast cancer. I was diagnosed with breast cancer earlier in the year,
Oh.
and having gone through that journey and that experience, it's very expensive to have this disease. And for lower income people, it would be almost impossible to balance the cost of their healthcare along with the cost of just paying their rent or buying groceries or any of the regular day-to-day things that we need to do to survive. And for someone who is financially insecure, they may have to choose between the cost of their, a medication or a doctor's visit or a procedure and buying food. So I don't think if you're sick, that should be something that you're having to make a decision between. So we started that nonprofit to be able to help people. Um,
Oh,
yeah.
that's amazing. That's amazing. See, Nicole, your mission is certainly praiseworthy. You're empowering women, making like them feel beautiful in the skin that they are in,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
helping them to see their true inner beauty and all these things. Like, but what inspired you to do so?
It was pretty organic for me before I started the brand and before I had my own business. I right when I was in college and shortly after college, I was working in a swimsuit shop, and before that, I was working in like a clothing boutique. And the one thing that I noticed, whether I was working with clothes or working with swimwear, was just how insecure so many women were about their physical appearance, whether it
Hmm.
be their weight or their hair or their skin or the way they felt like they looked,
Hmm.
regardless of how they actually looked. And so many women were insecure, and it just got me thinking, like, why is that? Why do I see beauty and they see something else? So I wanted to be able to create clothes that were inspired by the beauty that I saw in the women that I was helping. And I wanted them to feel beautiful when they were wearing the pieces. And I also wanted them to understand that they actually are beautiful, regardless of what society tells them they should look like. I think that each person has their own unique beauty, and that's so special and deserves to be celebrated.
Yeah, of course, I saw your website. I can see all these things to be there, so elegant, like, and the way you have covered the website is so amazing. I would really love everyone, even the person might not be a consumer of your item, all the guys, girls, everyone, to visit your website because I saw it. I
Thank,
work with websites all day, all day. Yours is like really elegant. When you look at it, it's elegant to
thank
see.
you. A lot of hard work has gone into that site.
Yeah, you can see that. It's so simple, so elegant, yet with everything that you want in a
Thank,
website.
yeah.
So, so for the guys who design website, it's a really good case study. I would say like how to make it perfect. It's not like it'll be great for some software where business, but for this business you're in fashion, it's so amazing.
Thank you.
Uh, like this is one thing that is important when you come to e-commerce. Apart from this, people think it's peanuts to enter into e-commerce right now. Just go do the listing, make a website, and you're done. And people and the things will start selling. But I know it's not like this.
No.
You're in the game, I manage the game. So we have our rules, but we know it's not like this. So people think e-com is like just put the stocks there and everything will be done. But the real game start after that, what I believe.
Yeah.
So what would you say about this? What are the difficulties that you faced when you started the business and when you are still running the business? Because e-com is not some things that a child can do, or at
No.
least with that vision, with the
Yeah.
vision of a child, a dreamer, you can do it. It has a lot of effort. So what do you think about it?
You're 100% right. There's a lot of work that goes into it. Um, it's just like any other business. I was having a conversation yesterday or the day before, and we were talking about all the new industries that technology has created. And
Hmm.
within that, you've got this great e-com space where it's democratized people having a business. So anyone can have a business on the internet, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it's still business. So you still have to run and operate it the same way you would any other business in real life. You still have to manage your finances. You still have to have customer service. You still have to do marketing, online and offline. You still
True.
have to create products if you're a product facing brand. If you have services, you still need to come up with pricing structures and find a way to connect your service to your consumer. I would say to some degree, it's actually a little harder in the e-commerce space because you have to compete with so many other companies online and find a way to have customers find you on the World Wide Web. Where if I had a physical store, I would at least have people driving past my store, every day of the week if I was in a good location. But when you're an e-commerce brand, you don't have cars driving past your front door. So you have to find a way to get consumers to, land on your website. And that can be really, really challenging if your product or your service is very competitive. And for my brand, when I first started out, I started out with swimwear, and I've recently added clothing to it, and we're getting more into clothes. But swimwear, as it relates to apparel, is one of the most competitive areas, like of the apparel industry. Everybody has a swimwear brand, and it's
Yeah.
extremely difficult to stand out with swimwear online. So I couldn't just rely on online sales in order to get in front of the customer. I had to
Mhm.
supplement that with doing local markets and local trunk shows and, doing things like this, a podcast, sending out newsletters. It's constant work all of the time that um, a lot of people really underestimate. And you really have to do your research and make sure you love what you're doing. I
That's
think
true.
in order to be able to be successful in this and have the ability to withstand periods of no sales, periods of slow sales, because it is a long game. It's not something, very rarely do people just post a product online and become successful overnight. You have those stories, but they're not the norm. They're the exception.
Well, that's true. Well, that's true. Actually, give one more answer. I wanted to know. It was like, how are you driving your potential customers? So that you gave that answer also, like you're a visionary woman, I can say.
Sure. Working on SEO,
Mm,
keywords, all the boring things that nobody ever wants to do when they have a e-commerce site, right? Like this is not
mm,
the fun conversation. It's very analytical. It's a lot of back end computer work, and then it's also doing things in real life to supplement what we're doing digitally. So it's SEO, it's keywords, it's digital advertising, but it's also doing events in my local community so that I can get some organic traffic. It's engaging with people authentically when I meet them. It's networking. It's a combination of things that a traditional business would do if they had a brick and mortar, plus what other e-commerce businesses do. I think that you kind of need to combine both in real life plus digital in order to really stand out, especially as a new brand or a new e-commerce business.
okay, okay. Uh, okay, we are talking technically everything, but there is a question coming from bottom of my heart. Which one is your favorite product right now that you are selling?
My favorite product is probably some of the things that I'm working on that are not on the website yet. I'm
Oh,
a
okay.
trained designer, so I'm always sketching and always making new product and making new things. And there's a dress that I've been working on for a little while now that I actually
Mhm.
designed it when I was in design school years ago, but I never produced it, and I'm finally producing it now, and it's probably one of my favorites. I love it, and it should be ready in the summer. It's called the St. Bart's Day Gown, and
Awesome.
yeah, I'm really excited to release it, and I'm really excited for people to see it, to have it, and to be able to wear it.
Awesome. That is so amazing.
Mhm.
I mean, you have an interesting story, and it seems that you have seen lots of ups and downs of the business. Like you look experienced, mature in terms of uh, a business woman, I'd say. So I want you to tell our viewers, to the budding entrepreneurs, to the local, to the international, to the serial, to women entrepreneur, every entrepreneur, if you have to give some mantra or if you have to give some suggestion to keep in mind, what would that be?
I would just say that it doesn't happen overnight. There's a saying that it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. And I think that when starting any business, let alone an e commerce business, you have to have a plan and a strategy to be able to withstand, ebbs and flows of the economy, the market, your customer base. It's not something that you're going to become filthy rich overnight. And if that's
True.
your reason for getting into e-commerce, you probably should rethink that, because it can happen. It's just not something where, I make a product, I post it online today, and tomorrow I'm filthy rich. And I think that a lot of times social media makes people believe that that's the way that it happens, when in fact it's, I create a product, I post it online, no one sees it, no one sees it, no one sees it, people start seeing it, people start seeing it, I
Mm,
sell some of it, I get feedback from the customer, they don't want like the sizing, they want me to change the sizing, I remake it again. It's more tedious, I think, than what
sorry.
anyone would ever give it
Mhm.
credit for. And you really just have to have the patience and the ability to withstand how long it could take before you find success. And I think a lot of businesses who aren't prepared for that are probably the types of businesses that might go out of business because they weren't properly prepared to last for the long haul.
Well, that's true. Well, that's true. There's no shortcut to success. They say that. So it is that. And I totally agree upon that one. So It was really nice to have you here with us today. I had fun. I don't know
Thank
about
you.
you, but I had fun doing this podcast today. You are an
Thank you for
interesting
having me.
person, and I hope we can do this again sometime soon. I
Yeah,
wish
for sure.
that.
Thank you
Th-
so much.
Thanks for being with us.
For sure. And anyone that is interested in my website, you can check it out at www.nichyl.com. That's NICHYL.com. Thank you for having me.
And if you want to connect with her with any other way, you can type in comments your message. We can also send it to her. Even she can check it out over there. So you guys can connect over there also in our comment
Yep. And
section.
I'm at Nic Hyl Clothing on Instagram.
You got it? They got it.
Thank you.
All right. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. You too.